Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are going to be fixing some of my mistakes. So, as you can see here, I hit a cone, and so it pretty fucked up my bumper pretty bad. So, we are going to be trying to blend onto this bumper, or trying to repaint it, I'm not really sure. A quart of Melbourne Red Metallic, which is what this color is, from BMW is $2,000. From an outside vendor, it is $700. And so to get this thing repainted from a body shop, they told me $2,000 as well. So I don't have that type of money because I'm in college. So what we're gonna try and do is I bought a $100 quart that's supposed to match this color. It's the same paint code. So $100 quart of that off Amazon, and we're gonna try and match that to the rest of this bumper. So I guess stay tuned and we're gonna find out how this turns out. So let's get to it. First, we have to pop off this bumper, and then we gotta sand it down, disassemble the bumper, and then sand it all down, and then we'll get to painting. So let's get to it. All right, finally got the front bumper off, the wheels back on. We're gonna pull the car out, and then we're gonna get the bumper back in here so we can start disassembling it, and then prep sanding tomorrow and trying to get that thing ready for paint. So get this thing outside tonight, get that bumper in, disassembled, and then we'll get to it tomorrow. All right, we finally ripped the bumper down mostly. I am struggling at least a little bit on these bottom grills. The front one, the main one, was a little difficult, but these ones on the side, I don't know the trick yet. I'll watch a video on them, how to take these things apart. But yeah, so if you look behind here, ripped out all the wiring. The wiring is actually really simple. It's one line, and then they just clip in right here. Super easy, and then all the sensors just kind of pop out. And one of the things I want to try is everyone always they always buy these color matched side reflectors. I'm wondering if you can paint these at all. I feel like it should be possible. I don't know, because that means I wouldn't want to go out and spend $40 or whatever on the blank side markers that aren't reflectors. What if you just prime them and paint them just as anything else? Because I feel like they're just plastic. It really shouldn't make that much of a difference. But I guess it's one of those things we'll find out here shortly. I was able to take off the badge here, but I kind of narfed up this edge here pretty damn bad. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's going to need paint. Initially, I was planning on blending this. I don't think we're going to be able to blend this anymore. Just because the amount of rock chips, and then obviously that issue right there. I'm like, why not just... If my $100 pint of Amazon paint doesn't match, then it's just going to be like, oh, it doesn't match over here. But I'm like, if you're going to go through the effort to paint it all, and it doesn't match right there, you're going to have to repaint it anyways. So why not just make it all not match? But we're hoping it's going to match. So I think our method for tomorrow is figure out how to get those bottom grills out and sand the rest of this thing down. And we should be all set to get this thing painted. All right, day 2, we are back. So we now have got this thing fully stripped down, and we need to then sand this thing down and prime and seal our areas where we are missing paint. So we have to do that. But the only problem is it has a 97% chance of rain today. It's also 60 degrees outside, which I do not believe is warm enough to paint with the hardener that I have. We'll check on that. So either it's going to be painting today or tomorrow, but we're on a severe time crunch because of the fact I have to get back to work. This is my daily driver, and I don't live at home. So it's gonna be going fast today. So, all right, we're gonna get started on sanding this whole thing down. So, all right, we're back in the store, and we got our makeshift paint booth, which is a 12 by 400 foot roll of plastic, because we don't want to get overspray over the whole entire garage. And we also picked up some rags, some sealer after the primer, and then we also have some adhesion promoter. So that is supposed to allow us to make sure that this sticks on that black plastic again. So I've actually never used sealer. I've used adhesion promoter before, but it worked, I think. I don't know. But so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna start sanding this all down. So now we got all of our painting supplies. So let's get to it. All right, and for sanding, we got ourselves a $20 Harbor Freight DA, some Amazon 400 grit sticky pads. So we're gonna go ahead and start sanding down this bumper and get this thing prepped for paint. I found out this bumper was repainted like when the clear coat kind of started to fail on it. But when I bought the car, I don't know how I did not see this massive run sitting right there. I don't know if I was just blind because I saw the car, but overall, it's turning out pretty well. That crack that we had going on, not crack, kind of cracked paint over here, has really seemed to smooth out pretty well. And I think with a little bit of filler primer, that should come out. You can still feel a little bit with your fingers there and there, but that's kind of like the farther end. That didn't really work on as much. But yeah, it's really starting to come out. I was kind of nervous about these like inner vents right here, but you really can get the sandpaper pretty deep into there, and so that turned out pretty nice. So this bumper is pretty intricate, so it kind of takes a little bit of finessing, and it's going to require a lot of hand sanding, especially in some of the edges. But overall, it's coming out pretty quick, I hope. Not that necessarily you want quick when doing this type of job, but it's coming out nice. So we're going to continue on with this. All right, we went through our first round of orbital sanding. There's a lot of areas you can't get into just because it's a 6-inch disc inside kind of the curves of this bumper, right? So we're gonna wash this off, and then we're gonna get to hand sanding to kind of check out the smaller areas and see how well the 400 is actually getting into this clear coat. Because if it's still super shiny after we've already sanded it down, means like we're gonna have to go around all the way again because it needs to be matte to make sure we can get our paint to stick. So we're gonna go ahead and wash that. We're gonna check it out and see how we did. All right, so here is after our first round. And so this is what I was talking about, how you can see the difference between the shine and the matte. So I couldn't get the sanding disc all the way in there. So the rest of this is gonna have to be hand sanded. Some of this is still pretty wet, right? Which is kind of like the reason you see like this and this, even though I sanded the exact same amount. So see right there, right there, right there, because I just washed it. So it's still drying. So it's gonna take a minute to dry off so you can kind of see the full effect of what is matte and what is not. As you can see from that. So the main problem with this bumper right now is there's a ton of rock chips, like as you can see all the way through here. So I think I'm gonna try and prime all the way out to here just to kind of try and fill in some of those rock chips, make it a little bit more difficult for it to kind of see over here. This area right here was filling clear coat, and I had to smooth it all out So it's pretty smooth. You can't really feel any lips on either side. So then we're gonna prime that, same way of priming over here. And then we just need a hand sand and a lot of these jams, just try and get all this stuff that you can't get to with the orbital. So that's our next plan. Continue sanding. Sand, 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 right? It's the name of the game. 90% of a paint job is in the prep, 10% is in the painting. So gotta make sure we do this right. So, all right, so this is all finally sanded down. It's been by DA, by hand. It's been 120 in the corners on edges. Sorry, not 120, 220 on the corners and edges, just to make sure that they are absolutely sanded down. Then I went over them again with 400 to make sure I removed any sanding scratches. So next, we're going to be working on our little experiment that we have here. We are going to be trying to sand these down and then primer and paint them. I'm not sure if it's necessarily possible, but I'm assuming that this is plastic, everything else is plastic. As long as I can cover this up with enough layers of primer, I should have no problem with painting these over. Especially because I don't feel like paying 40, 60 bucks or whatever it is to have plastic versions of these when they already are plastic. So we're gonna go ahead, sand these down while this dries, and we're gonna see how it turns out. So, all right, so we got our plastic adhesion promoter to make sure this doesn't chip off. And we got our filler, and we are going to try and give it a nice little coat of primer before we paint it tomorrow. Don't mind over there, the can was not shaken up enough, and then it splattered, so that sucks, but much better finish. We'll fix that. All right, so we plastic prepped it and then sprayed it with primer. But unfortunately, this bumper does have 150,000 miles on it. And so it's seen some wear. And it has some pretty deep rock chips into the paint and plastic below it. And so I'm trying to decide here whether I should go and fill these rock chips. Let me show you them. Yeah, these are the rock chips. Yeah, they're definitely not great. So that's the bumper right now. I was spraying more and more primer just to try and see how bad the rock chips are over the whole entire bumper, because this bumper's pretty thrashed at this point. And so I think I'm gonna have to go out and pick up some plastic little spot putty. I think I'm gonna have to fill this all up, because that's the only way you're gonna get all that straight and not see it once you spray the paint. So unfortunately, I think we got some more work for us. So yeah, we're gonna go out and pick some of that up. All right, so after we primed this whole entire bumper, it was able to get rid of some of the marks here. So we got rid of a few, that's just stuff in the primer, but that'll be sanded off. Over here, this looks a whole lot better. You can kind of see it right there because it's wet, because it's a bunch of builds, a bunch of layers of primer. So this needs to dry off. But as you see here, you can kind of see there's a ton of rock chips in this bumper. You're not really going to see it unless you're probably inches off, or if it's a color like gray, like this, so that you can see it easily. But I thought about being able to fill this, but the problem is you end up filling, if you try and fill these holes, it might make the bumper wavy because it's plastic. So we might just have to throw another coat of primer on it, throw some red on it, and it might be a 5-footer instead of a perfect show car. But this is being sprayed in a garage anyways without a spray booth. So you can only get as good as possible. So this is kind of like what we're looking at right now. So we'll get to it. Oh man, I think I have lost the plot. So this is my bubble paint room, I guess. So this whole area is gonna be where I have kind of blocked off here to paint. So because all that, they don't want to overspray on it. Who would have guessed, right? So I don't know, it's like a little painter's tart, stuff like that. So we're gonna paint in here. It's gonna be pretty nice. Pretty big little area, it's not too bad. It's on my 1-bay garage door. Yeah, so here we are. Not too bad. I'm sure there's enough room in there. Cover the floors and all that. That works out. I don't really care about the ceiling, but just as long as 99% of the stuff doesn't get over there, so. All right, and this is it finally completed. All sanded down, all smooth. almost looking body shop professional. All the body guys in the comments, please don't rip on me. So it's a little wet still. I just washed it, trying to get all the dust off. So tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and acetone the whole entire thing, seal it, and then we're gonna get some color on this thing. It's looking super clean, I think. I'm hoping it turns out all right. I don't know. It's been a lot of effort today. It's been probably 12, I started at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's probably 9 right now. So probably 9 hours today on this. I know it probably seems like a lot to all the body guys, but I really just want to try this. I'm not a professional. So yeah, hopefully it turns out all right. All right, it's day 3, and so now we're going to go ahead and acetone this off, make sure it's all clean, remove all the contaminants, dust, everything else like that, and we're gonna move it over to my plastic room that I have now set up, and we're going to go ahead and use our $100 Amazon paint and try to see if this thing will actually match. I'm heating up the garage to make sure it's actually kind of cold. Right now it's like 60 degrees. So heating up the garage to make sure the paint will cure. And we are going to go ahead and spray with this. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out. We hope it turns out well. Who knows? We'll find out. So stay tuned. All right, got the whole paint booth all set up, as good as it's gonna be. Wiped it all down, tack ragged it. Got the little side markers and sensors up on the wall there. So I'm excited. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but it's gonna be what's gonna be, right? So I'm gonna show you the gun, the paint we're gonna use, and then I guess we're gonna get to the spraying. So let's try it out. So we got the Amazon Special Aero Tools A610. It was a $60 gun on Amazon. I used to use Harbor Freight guns. The last time I sprayed when I was 14 years old. It's the last time I painted a car. So I used to use a $20 gun. This is a $60 gun. So hopefully it gives us a better result. I have no idea, no clue. I am not a professional painter. So we're gonna use this. And also, I forgot, we are going to seal the whole entire thing to hopefully get a smoother finish on our already at home shitty paint job. So we're probably gonna have to wet sand and buff this whole thing, but that might not happen today, might not happen in a month. It just really depends on when I get time, because I know this paint job is not going to be flawless. So let's get on to it. As you can see here, this gun seems like a pretty quality piece here. Comes with, what the fuck that is, obviously reservoir and a couple different tips as well. I'm gonna clean this gun because it has that factory junk all over it, oil, as you can kind of see there. So I could clean that off to make sure it doesn't get in the paint. So yeah, we're gonna get onto it. I'm gonna get this gun ready and we're gonna start spraying. Well, hopefully some of the body guys can relate to this, at least when they were younger. I got a few runs, quite a few runs actually. So we are currently now, we just waited for this to flash off, and we're now sanding this with 600 grit to get rid of the runs, because this is the most complex thing I've ever painted, a lot of curves. So we are doing that, and so we sanded all that down. And then we're about to tack rag this all off again, and then spray the second coat. So as I'll show you guys here. Yep, run. Didn't clean this well enough, so this chemical bubbled, because I'm fucking stupid. And then run there as well, and a run right there. So we're about to clean this all off and go for our second coat. This is a home paint job. This is not professional. Please do not rip on me too bad. So. All right, at least it's red. At least it's red. So hopefully it matches the rest of the car. Who knows? All right, we finally got this all painted here. Looks pretty good. I had a couple like kind of chemical flashes just due to I was trying to paint too fast. It's gonna be what it is. It's an at-home paint job, you know. So looks good enough, 90% there. So we're gonna go ahead and spray some clear. So It's definitely not perfect, but it's what it is. So, all right, we're gonna get to that and start doing that. And here we are. It's a success. I do have 1 or 2 runs, but that doesn't really matter to me because I'm just gonna go ahead and sand it off and buff it. It's gonna be great because I don't know if some of you guys might or may not know, you can sand and buff runs. You only have to do that if you're a bad painter, but it doesn't really matter because there's no orange peel. So I'll show you guys here. Boom. Yeah, you can see it. You can see through. It's pretty nice. As you can see, you can see the plastic behind me there. See, look, I can't even point. It's so clean. I'm kind of nervous. It's not going to match color-wise, but for at home, it's pretty damn good. I can't really complain, except for my little bit of a run over here. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I also messed up. I missed a spot. All right, the whole bumper is all assembled. It's looking great, especially from 3 to 5 feet away. If you're really looking at it, you can tell there's some imperfections, but who really cares at this point? Because it's fresh paint and looks pretty damn nice. I'm being pretty careful about making sure that I don't scratch it. As you can see, you can kind of see that difference in paint. We're gonna find out how that looks. All right, so let's throw this bumper on and see how it looks. Well, it's now been a few days, and as you can see here, color match worked out great. So the $100 Amazon paint job seems to have worked out pretty well. I'm gonna turn this around for you guys. Like, look at that. Super clean. Oh, the car's dirty right now, but like the front bumper's dirty, whole car's dirty. But dude, it matches so nice. No issues. Paint match reflectors. Don't worry about that little spot right there. But there's dirt on it. But yeah, dude, can't complain about this at all, you know? So you guys just gotta let me know what you guys think about it overall. I think it turned out pretty well, especially for being an at-home paint job without any other really measures to try and make it nice. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and this kind of budget paint job. Hope to see you guys in the next one. So thank you.